grab some chalk. We're going to continue now with the clean. So we're going to start with all the same drills that we went over in the snatch. Now we're just going to use a closer grip. So personally, my grip is a lot wider than what most people would use. You usually see more a grip here, so that would be with the thumb where the knurling starts, and most people feel pretty comfortable there. Personally, I like to be a little wider. So here, we're going to start with that same drill. Dip drive. So same principles, knuckles pointed down, pulling the bar back into the hip. It all starts with the knee bending. Knee bends, finish vertically. Knee bends, finish vertically. You see the foot stays flat and the whole leg is driving, or the whole foot is driving while I extend. Okay, next we'll go into ankle extension, just like we did for the snatch. So same grip, still pulling back, chest is in front of the shoulders, dip, ankles extend. Same thing, I want to make sure it's one push and we're not bouncing. I'll demonstrate what I mean there again. We're not bouncing at the top, we're continuing to push. Just like we reviewed when I pulled on Rebecca's arm and she was pushing her feet to keep pulling up on my arm. So now we'll go into the high pull. So ankle extension, we're still going to keep the bar at the hip until the knee extends. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. And you could see that at the top of the high pull here, I'm only going to about a little higher than the belly button. There's no need on the clean to pull all the way through for this drill. All right, so I'll do that one more time. Starting position. Next one. And then I'll do the first one more time. And then in sequence. So those are the drills I like to use with new lifters. Like I said, it teaches to keep the bar at the hip until the knees extend. All right, so we want the bar to stay there until the knee extends to make sure that you're not pulling before you get all the power from the legs. Again, so you commonly see people are still bent at the knee and they're already pulling the bar off the hip. All the power comes from the knee extension, ankle extension, and hip extension. So we want to make sure that we're leaving the bar at the hip until that happens. All right, so that's why I start with those drills. Now we'll be going to the hip clean. Hip clean starts, again, you could tell by the name, it starts at the hip. We're going to be pulling back on the bar, keeping it at the hip, dipping, and taking the lift. That was a power. The next one I'll do full. One more. Dip. And good. So some of the things you want to see there are when you go into your dip, like I said, you want to push the bar into the hips, just like that. That's how we ensure that the bar is moving with your body. So when you start, you push the bar into the hip. You're creating force by pushing the weight that's in your hands into your legs. You extend with it, and then the bar continues to go up because of the force you created with your legs. All right? Go through that one more time. I'm pushing the bar into my hips here. You can see I'm pulling back and I'm pushing down. Pulling back, pushing down, and I take my lift. So now that takes us to the tall clean. So we're going to take the bar. It's very similar to what we did with the snatch, but now we're only going to pull to the belly button, like I said before. We don't need the bar going any higher than this because everything else is speed under the bar. So starting here, same principles, pulling back, knuckles pointed down, chest in front of the shoulders. I'm going to pull up, extend through the ankles, and drop. Do that one more time. Pull, ankles extend, drop. So one thing that's really important with these, and the reason why I drill them, is to learn the rotation under the bar. So we're going to see at the top, the bar's in this position. From here, we're going to rotate under. So with these, what we want to do is we want to remove all the forward movement that people create when they take the lift. A lot of times you see this, that's incorrect, because now you're going to be forward and trying to dive under the bar. What we want to see is from here, knuckles stay pointed down, like we've been mentioning. So that's why we're taking this position, and then from here, note how the wrists are going to rotate in that same spot. From here, wrists rotate. Here, drops right under. All right. So if we're going from here, I'm gonna go all the way under the bar very quickly, just dropping my hips, lifting my feet, and dropping. One more time. And I'll do it on the barbell again. And that is a tall clean. Okay, so here we go with block cleans. First, we want to make sure the weights are tight on the bar. Get your clean grip. And again, we want to make sure that the knees are back out of the way, because that's the position we would be on the full lift when the bar's at this position. We would be knees back. Here, I want to ensure that I'm pulling back on the bar. So as soon as I take the lift, the bar starts traveling to the hip. So that's why I want to ensure that I'm pulling back aggressively on the bar. All right. Again, I'm driving from the front part of the foot. I tighten up my arms, my back, and drive my legs before I take my lift. I do that with a dynamic start, as you're going to see. And I take my lift. Now I'll go all the way under. One more. And on those, you really want to pay attention. It's the same movement that you saw on the tall cleans and the hip cleans. It's vertical pull, drop under. So top of the pull, knuckles down, and then dropping under. So you really want to emphasize finishing your drive right there. And as soon as that hip contact happens, your hips start dropping underneath the bar. All right, now we're going to go to the hang clean. Same grip we've been using. Again, I'm using a hook grip. It starts at the hip. We'll go through that again. Make sure you're lifting this in a good position. A lot of the times I see people don't consider the starting position of a hang clean, and they'll just pull this thing up. You want to ensure that you're still getting something out of it and using the same mechanics that you would use on a regular snatch or a regular clean. From here, right away, you'll see I go into a shrug. My arms are pulling back, my knuckles are pointed down, and my wrists are pulling back. So as soon as I'm ready to take my lift, I'm going to brace, push my hips back, and take my lift. Again, you'll see my chest stays up. It's pointed towards the wall in front of me. Knees move back as my hips move back. I feel the drive. I feel my hamstrings lengthen. And then from here, I start to pull back on the bar through retraction and shrugging, and I take my lift. One full speed now. So like I was saying, for these, we want to make sure that same principle as the snatch. As you take your lift, your chest stays pointed at the wall in front of you. Just like that, to make sure your back stays in extension. From here, my knees are back. I feel the length and the work in my hamstrings, and I'm driving through the front of my foot. A very common thing that I see is people lift the toes up. We want to ensure that the toes stay down and the front of the foot is driving. So we go down, all those things are happening, back, and you take your lift. Just like that. Going from there, now we'll go to the low hang. So in the low hang, everything that we just did is now enhanced. We need more drive. We need more push through the floor. We need more pull at the top. All right. So we're going to a lower position. So the lift now gets a little bit harder. Like I said before, I like to use these to increase how much people push through the floor. Starting position, clean grip. gonna go down, same thing, hips back, knees back, chest up. Now I bend into the knees a little bit, and then I come back up, knees back, pull back into the hip, take the lift. Now I'll go full speed. That's a low hang clean. Now we're gonna go to clean. So the full lift is the clean and jerk. We're just gonna go to the clean component, so I won't call it the classic clean, clean jerk. Again, important to talk about the start position here. For this, I like the hips a little bit lower than I do in the snatch. So usually I'm more of in an angled position here, like a 45-degree angle with my back. Like I said, I'm a little wider on the grip. Usually you'll see people a little more narrow, like right there. I'll grab my grip. You want to see the chest pointed up, shoulders pulled back. First move off the floor is chest comes up, knees move back. Just like that. So what that does is that ensures that your hips and the bar move at the same speed. A lot of the times when you see the chest not go up first, the bar doesn't move and the hips move first. I'll show you what that looks like. See, as soon as my chest doesn't move, my hips move up and the bar doesn't move. So now you wasted time and you're out of position. So the right way, the wrong way. All right? So very important that you move chest first, hips and bar move all at the same speed. So I'll go ahead and take the lift, going through the same things we talked about. Knees back, pulling back on the bar. I'm attacking the hip, taking my full lift, making sure I'm rotating my wrists under the bar and getting under quick. Like I said, I like to take my time between sets. That way you make sure you're in a good position. And this is really heavy. And that is a clean.